I've been thinking about this for a while, and it's definitely been a subject that has been weighing on my spirit for a while about photography. And it's about the rules of photography. One of the reasons why I really got into Tony Northrup and all the newer photographers that are going against the rules or who are kind of anti-hero the rules. Even though they respect the rules, they know how to break them. Like Manny Ortiz and all these other guys who don't go by the status quo, who take a bit of liberty, especially Tony. Tony does the most, especially with the theories that he comes up with and the theorizing that he comes up with and the proving of said theories. So you have to think about it this way as a photographer. Over time, you've had your standards, your things that were quote unquote safe. Like at the beginning of photography, you sat there and you just took a picture. It took so long to expose a picture on daguerreotypes and all these other old archaic forms of photography that you didn't have this option to smile. And then all of a sudden somebody was like, well, you know what? People look more friendly when they smile, when they look closer together, when they're, and then when the exposures got fast enough to be able to take a smile and have it decently lit, decently exposed, we started to change the way we think about photography. Instead of there being a rule of no smiling or sitting still, when things change, the acceptances for certain things change. Like I'd say 100 years ago, you would have never thought that cell phones and the way we take pictures with our cell phones would be a thing. When photography first came out, you would have never thought that the selfie, the angle that we take selfies would be ever flattering in the history of the world. But for whatever reason, nowadays, it is, depending on how you take the selfie. This whole feeling of being one, being just like the next person, has a spot, has a place in selfie photography. You know that person took that picture on their own, and it's a high quality picture because it's coming out of their cell phone, which has high megapixels, and you can do so much more with photography nowadays that the way we take images is more transparent about who we are and less about the structure and the stringent rules of photography and everything being leveled and all this other stuff. Now, mind you, I still respect those rules. I'm not saying discount all the rules and don't ever think about the rules of photography. I'm thinking about what about photography can we do to stop stifling our creativity? Because photography has changed, and what has been known as a stalwart image has changed. The idea of the great image has changed over time. And I know a lot of photographers that are, they say they die hard back film days, 50-year-old photographers that have been doing it their whole lives, dark room, ASA 200, all this other stuff, film and the daguerreotypes. They just know everything about everything. But if you study photography over time, you'll notice that things just change based off of the times. Now, there are some aesthetically pleasing things that will never change, of course. Having a focus image, having a level horizons, things of that nature. But there's a lot of different middle grounds in photography that you can go about changing in your image that may not be known as a socially acceptable thing to do and get a great image. Like shooting up at a model. I've actually done this quite a few times and gotten a lot of positive, way more positive feedback than negative feedback. And a lot of people say, now there's a way you can do it. A lot of people say, don't shoot up the nose. You can't shoot up the nose, stuff like that. Well, there's a way you can shoot. If you go all the way back, shoot down and up, but you're not in the wake of the nostrils, you can get away with it and have a really nice image. I've seen a lot of people just like my image based off of the fact that you can't see the nostrils in the image, and you got a good focal distance. You nice and compress that backdrop with a 2.8, 1.8, 1.4, nice bokeh, all of this stuff for a good portrait, and I've gotten off great images. There was an image that I took of my friend Jada. She was under a bridge, but I couldn't get that bridge in the shot to save my life without pointing the camera up towards the bridge. So I backed up, zoomed in with the 70 to 200, or I think it was either a 50 millimeter, but it was at some 70 millimeters full frame equivalent, and I was able to get a good image that a lot of people loved. And nobody, not one person out of the thousands and thousands of people who saw it, actually said that, oh, it's up the nose. There's no way you can get away with that image. No, because people really, I think, more than anything, people judge images based off of how they feel. Now, there is some rules behind the images, your rule of thirds, your horizon lines, your exposure, and things of that nature. But think about exposure and colors. A lot of people are changing colors of images, black and white, sepia tones. All this comes standard. Your Ludwig, your Valencia filters from Instagram, all these come standard in the images of the masses. Because it's not necessarily about what the big corporate level big wigs and the big wig, magazine holders say. It's more so about what people love. People love those highly processed images that are in the magazines, even though a lot of people are mad at what they do to the image of women and how they're seen. A lot of people like that. And I'm not going to go on this long diatribe about whether you should or not, but you have to think about it in the way of the people. A lot of the world goes to the way of the people. I mean, it's just like a good YouTuber, Scotty Kelman, said, McDonald's sells a lot of hamburgers. It might not be good for you, but people still like them. That's just the way, if it's cheap, it works and it's there. Now, I'm not saying that people's photography are cheap if they do that, but there are certain reasons why people like certain things. And it's not necessarily about what is perfectly correct. It's not about what's perfectly following the rules. It's more so about how you feel and how that image conveys to you as a person. Now, not everybody's going to like every image, and not everybody's going to be completely okay with something that's not politically correct with the photography rules and rules of a good image. But there's going to be a good number of people that if you can make them feel good with an image, you can get a great image. And you can stop stifling your own creativity. And just like my last video, this is more like a follow-up to my last video. You would put yourself in dangerous situations and kind of break the rules of your regular walk up and see the model and start to actually travel, shoot in different hard locations, and challenge yourself to do something you've never done before and see what you can do when you put under those pressure-like situations. That's when you start to create things that hopefully nobody in the world has ever been created before. But you know what they say, what has been done will be done again, and the least you can do is try to make some kind of different, unique look out of the things that you do. I'm done with CenturyFX Studios. Thanks for watching again, guys. This was just a follow-up to my photographing in dangerous situations. All about breaking the rules, being unique, trying something different, being creative. Not necessarily trying what you saw, but trying something by putting your knowledge together in your head and actually seeing how it comes out and viewing it and seeing how you feel about your own images. Keep watching the channel, and I'll stay tuned for the next video.